Hello and welcome back to wherever they may be. It's finished. Liverpool 1, Chelsea 1 at Anfield. Both goals came in the second half. Salah for Liverpool and the 85th minute equaliser. Shot cross from Willian. This is the show for you, the fans, your channel to have your say on your club. You can tweet me directly at Jason Cundy 05. Use the hashtag Chelsea TV. Or better still, pick up the phone and speak to me, Tommy and Frank, on 0844 327 1905. I think it's a fair result, boys, don't you, Frank? I mean, over the 90 minutes, we had a spell, chances. They had good spells, not so many chances, but I think a draw was probably a fair result. Yeah,
I think if any manager's going to go away from that with the point, I think our manager, to be honest, will be happier, because I thought Liverpool had better spells in the game, but then when we did have spells, we looked more dangerous than them. So it was a bit of tit and tat in that situation, but you know, I think both teams will go away from it knowing that we're better than that, and we've kind of cancelled each other out. Big things that they'll talk about afterwards will be, you know, players being rested really, or players just, you know, not so much being rested but rotated, was what the manager said, that they need to use their players and rotate them, you know, and I think it's a big call, rotating players for such a massive game. Chelsea-Liverpool game will be something that a lot of people will be discussing after.
Yeah, agree. How do you feel about the game, Tommy? I mean, we all, you know, with 8 minutes to go, we're taking a point. When we scored the goal, I said, yeah, we can go and win this now, because I thought we were very much on top. But, you know, I do feel a little bit like it was 2 points dropped as well. Yeah,
there's a definite element of frustration with me, in that I think if we'd turned up better today, they were there for the taking. However, if you're Jurgen Klopp, I think, as Frank's just alluded to, you'll also think the same, because I don't think they really turned up in their droves to actually sort of go at us with the commitment you would normally assume they're going to do a home fixture at Anfield. So I think, as Frank's rightly said, there was an element of cat and mouse in both managers' minds, hence the team changes. I think theirs was negative. Obviously put Drinkwater in for Fabregas, which I thought, no disrespect to Drinkwater, because he did OK. But with Cesc in there, I think we'd have opened him up a lot earlier than we did eventually, albeit from a fantastic strike from Willian. Definitely meant it into the top corner.
We'll talk about that, about the shape and about what this does and how it inevitably will leave some players out, because you just can't squeeze them in. But we'll talk about that. Fabregas missed out. I thought we were a different team when he came on. But let's talk about their goal, Frank. The unfortunate Bakayoko really hasn't sorted his feet out. It's ricocheted off his toe. Then it's gone into Salah. And unfortunately, the brilliant Azpilicueta couldn't quite get there. At that stage, I felt one goal was going to win the game. So I think you've got to give us credit to get ourselves back in.
Absolutely. Yeah, with the time that we had left, we have to give ourselves credit for getting back in it. But, you know, you touch on Bakayoko there. He didn't have his best of games today. I know he's only a young lad, just getting used to the Premier League. Because he's such a human specimen, he probably, the age of him and the experience he's got in the game is probably, you know, a little bit misguided. Whereas, you know, that touch that he done, it happened a few times during the game today where it didn't cost us. You know, that one was vital, because he'd done the right thing in getting back in, but his control was sloppy, and that's why they get the chance. And that happened in 3 or 4 different periods of the game in different eras, but higher up the pitch, where we never got punished. Unfortunately, that one, edge of the box, gets punished, and that's something that he's got to look at himself personally as a player and say, I've got to improve my technique in tight areas with the ball, and, you know, try and improve himself like that, because the other side of the game, he's got the power, he's got the legs to get from box to box and all the other ingredients you need to be a Premier League midfielder in this day and age. But you need to have, you know, you have to have great technique as well.
And that's what I think you made the point about Azpilicueta not getting across like he normally would, because he didn't expect the poor touch. That was the one thing as a defender. Normally he's doubly aware of the danger. I think
he's done well, Azpilicueta, to get as close to Salah as he does.
I totally agree, and I thought some of his blocks in this, I thought Azpilicueta was outstanding.
I thought he was out better than the match.
I mean, he was absolutely different grade. But the reason he didn't react to that, because he didn't expect the bad touch from Bakayoko, and to play it straight into the path. I think then it got flicked through to Salah. His finish was a simple one.
Well, we're going to talk about that. The question out there to you, the fans, as well, that 5-man midfield, when you have Bakayoko, Kante and Drinkwater in there, defensively solid, but you need that creativity, that ball retention from someone like Cesc, and we definitely saw the game change, I felt, in our favour when Cesc came on. Do you like the 5? or do you want to go back to the 4 and then the 3 up top, and with Pedro coming in, Willian, Hazard, and of course supporting Morata? So it's over to you, the fans. 0844 327 1905, and Bill Andrews, who regularly calls that number, is the first to phone us this evening from Belfast. Bill, good evening and welcome.
Hello, boys. Nice
Evening,
to hear
Bill.
you again.
Evening, mate.
Yeah, of all guys, you know, you pros, obviously you're perfectionists, but as a fan, it's just great to see your team putting in that effort and commitment in one of the hottest venues in the world, and I'm proud of them. But you touched on the formation, Jace. I came in late. I turned on the telly, and the first thing I thought is, where is our creative midfield? There must be a flu epidemic has hit the team or something. It was strange to see the way we were set up, but to Conte's credit, I mean, the team performed magnificently. I thought that first half they were solid, very professional. But the second half, the inevitable happened, Jace. I think this is a problem with the 3-5-2. It's okay if you're playing sides outside of the top 4. But when your wing-backs get pushed back and you've only got 3 left in midfield, you get isolated and you got overrun in that second half. And our creative players really needed it on the pitch. And it spoke for itself when Conte did the inevitable, brought Willian and Pedro on and Fabregas. Yeah. All of a sudden we were in control of the game. And quite frankly, it's hard not to wonder, if only Conte could have been a bit more ambitious, we'd have wiped the floor with Liverpool tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put that to the boys. I mean, we all sat here, and in an hour, I distinctly remember it, we're all sitting there and we're saying, listen, Fabregas has got to come on. And Frank has said it's an hour now. Yep. Fabregas has got to come on for Bakayoko. And, you know, we're all saying the same thing. It took a lot longer. I think the angle the Bill's making there, that perhaps... But I suppose at 0-0, it's not a bad result. You know, do you go in search of that goal? Well, or do you say, you know what, I'm actually quite content and happy with how things defensively... Because let's be honest, they didn't create that much, Liverpool.
No, they don't. But when you go to Anfield and you come away with a point, it's never really a bad point.
No, it's not.
You know, so I sort of...
I feel a bit
I'm frustrated, I'm confused, because I feel we could have gone there and got a better result. Yeah. But on the day we deserve what we got was probably was the maximum a point. Yeah. But I agree with Bill. I think we had a chance to turn it in today after a long week. Now, what anyone says, it was a long week's travelling, and it's got to take its toll on the players eventually. And I thought to come back in the 85th minute with the fresh legs was great reaction from the boys, something you'd expect.
And the manager's made those choices.
He has.
He's got that. You know, he got that. He could have done it earlier, but he got it right.
To be fair to the man sat alongside me, he called it after an hour, and he called the 2 first substitutions, albeit the other way round, and the 2 people coming on.
I think as well.
And I think it was justified.
I think what you've got to take into consideration, what Bill's saying there is, if we'd done it earlier in that, but we've got a totally different view of the game than the manager. When he's standing on the touchline and he's right up in it.
He's in the eye of the storm, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
it's different.
Absolutely.
And it's taken him a little bit longer to work that out, whereas something that we're watching on the TV or wherever you might be watching the game, then you can see things sort of like more of a bird's eye view of it. And it was something that was quite obvious to a lot of people that were not in that cauldron at the time when he's got to make that big decision.
OK, we're now getting some post-match reaction at Anfield. He definitely got better as the game wore on. Here he is, your skipper, Gary Cahill.
So, Gary, do you think that was the least we deserved tonight?
I felt we deserved something out of the game for sure. Especially the second half. You know, they had a lot of possession first half, but we created a lot of chances during the game, and especially, like I said, second bit of the second half, last 20-25 minutes, we was piling pressure on. So we was here to get a result.
How pleased were you with the disciplined performance, especially at the back up until the goal?
Yeah, we defended very well, and sometimes in football you get a bit of bad luck, and that was a bit of bad luck. You know, they didn't kind of carve that chance out. It just fell to him off the back of one of our players, and it just fell in his pass. So on our point of view, it's disappointing. But we showed the right character and the kind of spirit that we've been showing in the last couple of months. I never felt we was out of that game, and like I said, we was pushing late on. Give that 10-15 more minutes to be interesting to see how that game goes, because we was putting a lot of pressure on.
I was going to say the response after the goal was spot on, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I said, we're showing the right character that we wanna have, and we kind of never say die. We got back into the game, and you could clearly see after that it weren't a matter of let's sit and take the point. We was going for them 3 points. So in the end we're disappointed, but we were playing against a great attacking side today.
Been a big week for Willian. Do you think he meant that?
I'm sure he'd say he did. But you know, I'm sure he's not bothered. That's 3 goals now in 2 games for him. So fantastic impact. You know, I thought the subs made a great impact on the game as well. As the players that played, and it was a decent performance from us, I felt. So we are a little bit disappointed that we didn't take the 3 because we come here for them.
What does it say about the strength of the group at the moment when you've got Cesc, Pedro, Willian coming off the bench like they did?
Yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see because at the start of the season we didn't have that. And the key for us as a squad, everyone knows it's not huge, but the key for us is to keep everybody fit, try and keep everybody fresh. You can see the managers having to make changes. The schedule's crazy, like travelling all over the place. I don't know what the deal is with that, but maybe it's not going to change, so you have to deal with that. And that's why you see probably the manager making 5 changes and then having to switch it up again today. So, but they're in a similar boat. You know, they was away in midweek as well, but they had a day extra. So, yeah, keep everybody fresh and keep everybody fit, and I think we'll be fine. But that's the key.
Finally, then, with that in mind, 3 big away games in 8 days. To come through it in the way we have, how pleased are you with that?
We're pleased. We're pleased. I think I feel kind of greedy that. We didn't get the 3 today because I know that we're looking above us and not behind us, and we want to put as much pressure on the leaders as we possibly can. But saying that, you know, that's is it 5 now unbeaten in the league, 4 wins, and we've got a couple of good home games coming up now. We've been on the road a lot, so it's nice to get back to Stamford Bridge in the form we're in and try and put in a performance there and get the results to get us a bit closer.
Well, skipper Gary Cahill reflect on that 1-1 draw. Here are the other results that have taken place so far on this weekend of Premier League games. West Ham drew with Leicester last night. Crystal Palace come from 2-1 down to beat Stoke. Manchester United scored second half to beat Brighton. Newcastle struggling at the moment. Hopefully they'll do the same next weekend. Watford romping 3-0. Bad point for Swansea. Better point for Bournemouth. 0-0. Spurs were 1-0 down for large parts of that game against West Brom at Wembley. Harry Kane came to their rescue, and we all know what happened at Anfield. The other fixtures take place tomorrow. And here is how the top of the Premier League table looks. Just that point takes us further away from Spurs. Well, he keeps us there, of course. They drew their game. Manchester United extend their lead on us. And Manchester City, of course, play tomorrow. Arsenal have a chance to close that gap on Liverpool and Spurs tomorrow as well when they play, as do Burnley. So it's all very tight, it's all very congested at the top of that table. But like Tommy said, it's not a bad point. You never really turn your nose up at a point away at Anfield. But, you know, I do feel as though that there was more there for us. But let's talk about that midfield, because we have seen a formation change again this season. He has gone to that 5. And without Cesc, there is that lack of ball retention, ball creativity, those runs that Morata makes, that Hazard makes, that Pedro makes, depending where we are on the pitch. Don't quite have that, but Bakayoko seemed to struggle a little bit today, I felt. Couldn't quite get close that way, couldn't do his job that way, got caught in no man's land. But if you're picking a 5, do you have... who is your 5-man midfield now?
What the difference was between this game and the previous game, when Fabregas plays, we discussed it before. When it was Fabregas, Kante and Bakayoko, we talked about the mixture, the ingredients of all 3 of them bring. Now, what I thought that Drinkwater brought to the table today was those driving runs forward. He was, a lot of the time, he was the furthest forward, getting in the box, very close early on in the first 20 minutes or so.
Twice he nearly
nearly got on the end of things. Now, because he was doing that, I think that type of confused Bakayoko and what role he actually had in the team, because that's what he's done previously in the side. So it kind of left him in a situation where Drinkwater's making those runs. I'm sure the manager would say, I don't want 2 going at the same time and just leaving one player isolated. So I don't think he knew where his role was in the team today. And the one thing that ain't his strength is trying to play the Fabregas pass in that midfield area. That's not his strength. So the only thing he tried to do was break up play. But you know, he had a sloppy game today, but he wasn't the only one. And when we discussed how the performances was last weekend, we said to a man we were 8 and 9 out of 10. We never had that today. So formations, you can hype on about formations and who you pick and stuff like that. If your players ain't giving you your 8s and 9s out of 10s, you're not going to win a game of football.
Especially against Liverpool. Especially against a decent Liverpool side who were well organised today. Last week we were impressed because we played West Brom, who were shambolic.
Yeah.
You know, we played a much tougher team away from home today. Our run of fixtures have been tough, mate. And as I said, I know they're pros and I get paid a lot of money. And they got masseurs and dietitians and all sorts all over the place. But this has been a tough week. And then Gary made the point there. There was a frustration in his voice, as there is ours. But knowing we could do better. But I think he's pleased to get back at Stamford Bridge this week, play Swansea, play Newcastle, get some points on the board from home and see where that takes us in the new year. Because this run of games now, we've had Man United at home, Liverpool away. This run of games now are very winnable. You still have to go out there and do it.
We're going to have a look at those in a second, about how winnable those games are, because they really are. Now, the development squad have also been in action against Liverpool today at Cobham. Unfortunately, Joe Edwards' side went down 3-1, but there was a spectacular individual goal from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Picks that ball up in his own half, beats 3 players, takes it round the goalkeeper and slots it home. Brilliant finish. Shame about the result, though, but another example of what a young talent this boy is. And, of course, Tommy, you've spoken plenty of times about him, haven't you?
Mate, this is under 23, he's 17. Let's put it in perspective. You know, this is a massive talent.
This young man,
Colin Pates told me 3 years ago he's a superstar, and I totally agree. I think he's going to be a superstar, and when he can do things like that on that stage, he's got every chance.
We also have some live academy action for you this Tuesday. The development squad take on Exeter in the final group game of the Checker Trade Trophy, and they need to win to progress.
Hudson-Odoi scores! It's in! Luke McCormick, go on! Yeah, he's done it! Well done, young man. Oh, brilliant. Christy Davis, gorgeous goal. Hudson-Odoi gets the goal that he deserves.
Yeah, good luck to those boys as well in that particular game. Now, we can't help but think about the next game. We do have a big game coming up. We welcome back Clem, Swansea, and this is a game where really, in all honesty, we have to take 3 points. I mean, don't even think about it.
It's paramount importance to take 3 points. Yeah, unfortunately, going to put Clem under more pressure. So they didn't. They got a very poor result today at home to Bournemouth. Yep. So we got to really put them to the sword, Jace. There's no sentiment in football. No. We've got to come off the back of today and the back of a tough week and get the result. Yep.
And then, of course, we're looking ahead to Newcastle on the back of another bad result. They're really hitting the buffers at the minute. They can't string some results or performances together. So you're looking at that now and you're thinking, OK, we're unbeaten now in 3 games. We're starting to get a little bit of stability. The formation looks like it's starting to work. Maybe 1 or 2 personnel need to be moved about. But these next 2 games, Frank, are, I mean, 6 points out of 6, please.
You'd expect so. Both at home. Obviously, the time for the players to get their rest in now as well, and prepare for these 2 games. And you couldn't pick 2 better teams out of the hat that you want to play.
Absolutely.
And fancy yourself to get get the 6 points because of the form they're in and obviously the trouble both clubs are in as well after this weekend's results.
OK, now let's talk about man. We just heard, sorry, Frank mentioned him earlier there, we have got some post-match reaction. Willian scored another goal. Here he is.
So, William, first of all, how pleased were you with that performance tonight?
Oh, yeah, of course we are happy because it's not easy to play here against Liverpool. We came here to try to win the game, but, you know, it's difficult. They have a great team, quality players. They create some chances, we create some chances. They score 1 goal, we score 1 goal. So I think 1 point is better than nothing.
We scored 1 goal. It was a bit special. Did you mean it?
For sure, it was a shot, no doubt.
Why would I ever doubt that?
Because some people ask, you want to cross or want to shoot? I say, shot? Of course, too much quality. No, but I'm happy to score this beautiful goal. In this kind of games, it's important to score goals. So now we have to carry on and to stay together in this moment because we want to win all the games.
It's been quite a week for you, hasn't it? I mean, how pleased are you with your form and your impact?
I always try to do my best, try to play my best football, try to score goals. Sometimes it's difficult to score, but always I try. And yeah, I want to improve myself. I want to play better game by game, to score more goals, to help the team. So yeah, I think I have to continue in the same way.
Obviously a hard-fought point at the end of what's been a very challenging week. I mean, how pleased are you with the week as a whole? 3 games away from home in 8 days, 1-2, drawn 1.
Yeah, in this moment you have to rest well, eat well, because it's difficult play. You know, 3 days after you play one more game, travel. You know, you have to. In this moment you have to rest well, because it's difficult, and we have to win all games.
You'll sleep well tonight then?
Yeah, of course.
Another goal in his last 2 games. He's not played all 90 minutes, by the way. He scored 3 goals and had 2 assists, those penalty, and Karabag as well, and of course those 2 goals. So he's off the bench, and I mean, what options we had off the bench? Pedro, Willian, you know, and Cesc. You know, that's real, genuine quality off that bench there, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd argue that they should be starting, really. But,
absolutely.
You know, they need a rest at some point, whether it's in a game as big as this.
Yeah. I'm
not too sure of, but you know, he touches on. He's pretty adamant that he's meant that. As a chip. Now, my initial thoughts is he's trying to cross it, he's got it wrong. Bit like Zappacosta got one, but I don't know. But if he has meant that as a chip, that is world class.
I think the problem with him, and I think it was tongue-in-cheek, he said it, but you see where Morata is?
Yeah.
I think he's aiming at Morata.
He's looking Morata.
Because Morata's looking at the far stick there, and obviously he's just overhit it. Great finish, but we'll take it all day long.
Now, we were just touching on the fixtures and what they look like ahead. Today's game is the last really tough game we got until Arsenal. Have a look at this. Now, no game is a gimme in the Premier League, but let's just go through them. We're at home to Swansea and Newcastle, very winnable. Away at West Ham, winnable. Away at Huddersfield, winnable. Home at Southampton, winnable. Everton, the same. Home to Brighton, home to Stoke. Now, I'm not saying we're going to pick up maximum points in all those, but every game you look at there, you think, right, up until Arsenal, that's going to be a tough game. No question. Then we've got Leicester home, Brighton away, Bournemouth, Watford. Watford will be a tough game, actually. But you look at that right up until Manchester United. Now, we're right through to the end of February there. You know, we can accumulate a lot of points. And remember what happened last year, the sort of run that we went on, the unbeaten run, which led us to the title. Now, I'm not getting carried away saying we're going to win the title or anything like that, but I think this is a real opportunity over that Christmas period, right into the end of February, to make a to really lay down a mark and say, you know what, we're not going to cement ourselves in this top 4, but we're not going to go away.
We can make a run at it, Jason. I think the week after we got Man United is Man City, so we need to get the points on the board before then. It's a great chance, as you say, because, you know, with no disrespect to the other teams there, but we got to be looking to win every one of them games, even whether it be away or at home.
More post-match. Here he is, Antonio Conte.
So, Antonio, an incredible game. Was that the least we deserved, do you think?
Yeah, I think at the end, I think we deserved more. In the first half, we were very solid and always dangerous with the ball when we were in ball possession. In the second half, I think we created many chances to score, and maybe in our best moment, and we considered a goal. We were unlucky in this situation, but then I saw a great reaction, amazing reaction of my players, great desire, great will to fight, to change the result, and then also when we drew and we tried to win. A good performance because despite a long travel and no rest for my players. To have this type of performance, it means that the players are in good form. There is the good spirit, good enthusiasm, great desire to don't accept a bad result. Yeah.
You get the sense that maybe he felt there was a little bit more there for us than just that point. But what will he made of our start of the season so far, Tom? With and also the sort of games that are coming up, we're still in the hunt.
Jason, we're in the frame. That's all you want to be around Christmas. You want to be in the frame. Now you look at our run of games. We've just highlighted them. Got every opportunity to picking up a lot of points. You know, there's going to be one mishap, But look at the squad we've got in place now. Injury-free, suspension-free. That will take us forward in these 7-8 games to after Christmas and see where we are then. We need Man City, and they will. They'll slip up somewhere during this season, for sure. And when they slip up, we have to be right up their backsides to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, of course. And, of course, we're still very much in all the competitions, Frank. You know, we've got Bournemouth coming up in the League Cup. We've now got Athletic to make sure we progress, hopefully, on top of the...
the FA Cup in the new year.
FA Cup.
Absolutely.
First week as well. We had a couple of sticky moments so far this season, but going into December... We're in all competitions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, with those games we got coming, we just got to focus on us and get our jobs done. There's not much you can do about Man City.
No.
Whether they go and just wipe the floor with everybody, OK, hands up, well done, Pep. But we've got to make sure we've got our own house in order.
Boys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Jason.
That's all we've got time for this evening. Thanks for joining us. The Blues leave Anfield with a point thanks to a Williams strike late on. A quick reminder of what's coming up here on Chelsea TV. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock, you can see today's game in full. And at 6:30 on Monday evening, you can see all the goals from across all the levels on post-match roundup. Well, thanks to Tommy and Frank, of course, you guys at home for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Good night.